Hello friends, welcome back, and for anyone who's new, welcome. My name is Shayna Farmer, and together with my family, we are here to leave the biggest impact that we can on this planet by also leaving behind the smallest footprint. Today, I'm going to show you how I refresh and make my jun. I know we've seen this before and I've talked about it. I'll link the video above that I did on my Schooly Chef Shayna page about my kombucha. But this is no longer kombucha, and this is now a jun. Kombucha is made with black tea and cane sugar, and jun is made with green tea and honey. We try to reduce the refined sugars that we eat as a family, and so making a fermented tea beverage, honey is our sweetener of choice. So I'm going to show you today how I refresh this, what I do, and how you can make this delicious treat on your own. Stick around. Also, if you like this kind of stuff, please let me know, and I will definitely be trying to do more of these food as medicine posts, because really the health that we have within our body is the largest form of wealth that we have, and when we treat food as medicine, not as something that we do to pass time, the way that it enlivens and enriches our bodies is something beautiful. This is a jar with about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of honey left in it. When we get jars that are left like this, these are the perfect things to make kombucha in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my loose leaf green tea into the honey. I'm going to add boiling water, and then we are going to let this sit and brew until this comes to room temperature. Let me show you. These are tea strainers. You can put any loose leaf, herbs, anything within here. And this is how I prefer to eat tea. We also have other types of tea that we can make, which we do have some tea bags, but I specifically only get tea bags when it's herbs and things that are harder to find. If it's things like green tea, mint, clover, I try to harvest it myself, the mint and the clover, not necessarily the green tea. But I personally really like going to Asian grocery stores and specifically getting Japanese green tea. Years ago I had a friend, and she gave me some loose leaf green tea that her friend had brought her back from Japan, and trying real Japanese green tea 100% changed my life. Alright, so once those are filled up, put the caps on, put them inside with the honey, and now we're going to add hot water. This week we got a 1/2 gallon, which is 8 cups here. And then what do I got in here? I have another 2 cups. So we have 10 cups. We started out with only the 3 cups that are in here. So in just a month, we've gone from 3 cups to 8 cups, which is pretty amazing. With this, Now this is the jeune that's going to be in the fridge. It has already fermented. If you could smell it, it smells like, you can smell the fermentation, but honey specifically with jeune as opposed to kombucha. Honey gives everything a floral sweet smell and a floral taste, which I personally, oh, I love it. But what we like to do is we like to do a second ferment with some of our jeune. And that's actually why we have some of these teas. Hibiscus is one of our absolute favorite second batches to do. Now, I've never tried it by doing it with the first batch. I'm assuming I could. But the thing that I find is I like to put the herbs and mint and things like that in the second ferment, because when I've noticed that I've done anything besides green tea in the first ferment, it gets a little bitter, and I am not a bitter fan. So with this, we're gonna let this tea bag sit in here for about 24 hours. This will turn pink. These two here are now just going to go into the fridge. They are ready to be drank at any time. We will drink this, can drink it for the week. And then in a few hours, what we're doing is we're waiting for this tea to brew, but also for this water to cool down. In order to add this tea into here, if you notice my SCOBY, I leave a little bit of the liquid in there, and then that's all the SCOBY. What we're going to do is when this comes to room temperature in a few hours, I'm going to pour this into here. I'll fill it up to this rim here with water. And the reason why I like this jar specifically is the SCOBY, because it's gotten so large, it won't actually come above this line. So this is all just extra space. So the jeune will ferment within the jar, and the SCOBY never touches air. The SCOBY can stay weighted down because it can't fit past this barrier. So I love this jar. And then once it's in there, I cover it up. This is a reusable paper towel. You can use cheesecloth. If you hold it, if you can see this, I don't know if you can with the camera, but you can see through the light through this. You just want a fabric that is breathable, because this needs air for it to ferment. I will come back in a few hours and I will show you how I finish this up. The green tea and honey that we fermented earlier is finally at room temperature. So we are now going to add it into our jug with the SCOBY, and then we'll let this sit for a week. A few things I just wanted to mention is that I used to not like tea. Every time I've had tea previously when I was younger, it was always bitter, and I didn't like it, and so I never gave it a shot. And then I learned when I started on this healing journey that when tea and herbs specifically are brewed in hot water too long, they get bitter. So you can do two things. You can make cold brew tea, which is essentially just putting your tea and your herbs in cold water and letting them sit in the fridge. I'll do that overnight, and the next day you have delicious tea. The longer you let it sit, the stronger it is, but it doesn't tend to get bitter when you do it in the fridge. Or when you do it hot, you just leave it in for no more than 5 minutes. There are some herbs and there are some teas that only like to be in hot water like that for 3 minutes. And so when you take them out, the tea is so delicious and it's not bitter at all. So I wanted to share that little tidbit because it's something that I have learned. And now I will show you how I add this. Again, this is the melted honey and the green tea that we made earlier. We're going to mix that in with the SCOBY and get it brewing for next week. I'm going to add a little bit more water here in a minute. I just wanted to say that so now all of that honey will feed that SCOBY for the week. The SCOBY will grow, and as it grows, it ferments the tea. As the tea ferments, it creates all of this good bacteria that when we ingest helps our bodies to just function better. It really, really does help improve our gut health. And with gut health also comes your intuition. By being able to have a healthy gut, you're able to have a healthy relationship with the part of your body that gives you the ability to really feel again. Let's add some more water. And we're going to go right up to that line there. And then give it a little gentle stir. But if you see this smaller? This smaller SCOBY is what grew on the top of the larger one last week within that jar. Because if you look, most of the SCOBY is much thicker. So now we shall cover, put an elastic band around to make sure nothing else can get into it, and we'll put her away in the cabinet. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen again today. I hope that I was able to answer any questions that you have about making your own kombucha or jun at home. If you do have any questions, please leave them below. I will say that I have done kombucha or jun now. This is my first time doing jun. I usually have always done kombucha, but with us using less refined sugars, that's when I decided to actually make this shift and do this a little bit differently. When it comes to a SCOBY, I mentioned in my previous video over on the Schooly Chef Shayna page that I got my SCOBY from my friend Stacy, another Schooly family, and she had gotten this was a very healthy SCOBY, and that's why it's done so great. I have tried to create my own. I've created my own SCOBY from those starter kits that you can find at co-ops or on Amazon. I personally suggest getting it from a co-op. I don't want to get into my thoughts on Amazon in this video. But the best is if you know someone who has it and they have a healthy SCOBY, that's really where you want to get it from. Either way, you can create it, you can do it. All of this is possible for you to do on your own. Again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time spent here, and I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.